Hey everybody, it's Transformation Tuesday and the day is almost over, but I wanted to just, talk to my married people right quick. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. We know that, right? But we have to make sure that we're playing our part, right? He's going to do everything he can to have us at odds with one another, right? Whereas if our backs are facing each other, then you have one spouse that can combat anything that's coming from that direction, and you have the other spouse that can combat anything that's coming from that direction. But when we are like this, we're at odds. We can't attack or defend anything, right? Because everything is coming straight at us. Communication is one of the biggest reasons that marriages fail. Communication, then you have finances, and then a host of other things. But at the end of the day, with communication, it's like it's not hard, but we make it hard. And we have to ask ourselves sometimes, like, what is it that we're doing that may cause our spouse to feel the way that they feel, right? And I know that for me, it's the delivery of information. It's how you say things, right? If it's aggression or hostility, then I tend to shut down. If you are more accusatory than just asking questions or probing, then I may shut down. Like there's different things that we can do that will cause a breakdown in communication, right? If we both are talking, then who's listening? No one. We should be seeking to understand instead of being in such a rush to have a response. There's a reason, again, that your partner feels the way that they feel. And if we're bringing anything from the past into our present, that's already a road to destruction. Whatever happened in our past needs to stay in the past. There's no need to bring it up unless you're testifying, unless you're giving a testimony of how God brought you through a situation. Other than that, anything that happened in the past, I don't care what it was. If one of your, if your spouse cheated on you or if they did something really, really horrible, if you made the decision to forgive, there is no reason it should be brought up again. There's no reason that your spouse should feel just so hurt and, betrayed that you keep bringing up a thing, right? So with marriages, we have to learn how to work together. It's not going to always be easy, but if you married this person, I'm assuming that you felt like they were worth that work. You have to put in work. It's like a job, right? You have to put in that work. And that's communicating. That is, even with, spending time, there has to be sacrifices too, right? Now, if you've made a person feel a certain type of way, and I'm only speaking, like, I can speak for me. If I'm feeling a certain type of way, I may not want to spend time with you, depending on what was said. And I'm not saying that's the right decision, but I'm saying that these are some of the reasons that we find ourselves in these situations, right? I can be stubborn, but I can admit that. Not saying that it's right? I know what I need to work on, and I ask God to remove those traits. Anything that's not of Him, I'm asking God to remove. But that's the first step, knowing and being able to admit to it, not being in denial about things that you may do or say, right? And another thing, pointing the finger. We can't constantly point, well, you did this, well, you did this. So let's fix it. How can we fix it? How can we both come to a resolution without making the other person feel less than or like you're not doing this or you're not doing that? And yes, when you deliver information, criticism, feedback, it should be done in love. This is true. But you also need to be able to receive. You can't be the one that's always giving. When things don't go your way, you want to be quick to, well, you did this, or, you don't be doing this. And you can tell if it's been something that's been bottled in for a while just on how it's delivered. We got to do better. We got to do better. We're letting the enemy win. We're letting the enemy win. So depending on how bad you want to fight for that marriage, that's the work that needs to be done. But if both people are not willing to communicate, to listen to each other, to sit back and reflect and say, okay, maybe I could have said that a little different. That doesn't make you a punk. Doesn't make you weak. It makes you caring, loving, and willing to fight for your marriage. Okay, maybe I could have handled that differently. Maybe I could have stopped doing that a little sooner and went to, spend time. Maybe I didn't have to say that as harsh as I did, because we have feelings. And if you don't want your feelings hurt, why are you hurting someone else's feelings? It's still, do unto others. So for my married people, just reflect, sit back. Sit back, and maybe you need to record the conversation so you can go back and replay it and hear how you may have sounded. Because we got to be willing to be open and honest about our feelings. But we also have to be honest about whatever we need to change. Nobody's perfect, but if you are the only one that's always being told that you do this, you do this, you do this, so what does that leave you doing? And then I'm gonna question, well, why are we married? Why are we even together? If I'm that bad of a person, I done did this and I done did this and why are you here? It just leaves questions, right? So address things head on. If you're that mad, would you feel like you can't take a break but come back to it? Don't sweep it under the rug, because now it's gonna fester. But you have to be willing to put in that work. You have to be willing to listen to your partner and willing to take feedback and vice versa. I love you, beauties. I hope this helps, and I hope this is something that you invest in. Have a good night.